It's a bit of a sad note. We're laughing, but from here, we're going to the State House forecourt, and that is where my colleague Muftau Nabila Abdullahi is standing by. I am told some people have already started filing past, paying their last respects to Christian Atsu. Let's take you now for Prime Take today to the State House, the forecourt, as we bid farewell to our fallen hero, Christian Atsu.
For former Ghana midfielder Christian Atsu, a man who left home to feed home, has returned to the house, bringing the people he stepped out of the house to feed. Tears unconfined, tears that many of them would always wonder why this early. Christian Atsu was a man, not just his talent, but the benevolence of his heart is actually one thing that many people are admiring. Right behind me is the remains of the man who brought joy to all of us, millions of people, in fact billions of people across the world. Unfortunately, what we see here, that skill that he brought the joy to the millions of people with is in that left foot he has lying down there. He's taking that skill away. The heart that he's got in there, that touched millions of people. He's lying down there with that heart. The millions of people who benefited from the benevolence of Christian Atsu are asking the question, who is going to be the next Christian Atsu? Who is going to be our next Messiah? Quite unfortunate for many people who relied on this man for their source of livelihood. Here is the State House where the pre-burial and final funeral rites of Christian Atsu is happening. At about 6:30 a.m., his family were the first people to file past the body before the other members of the public were allowed to pass through and pay their last respect to him. One of his former clubs, Cheetah FC, just arrived at the venue where it is happening. The former vice president of the Ghana Football Association, George Ofrie, is also here. And his manager, the first man to take him to Europe, Haye Yate, is here. And we've just seen the arrival of Accra girls. They've just arrived here at the venue where Christian Atsu, the general public is allowed to pay their last respect to the man many described as Ghana's Mercy. Ghana's Mercy is going home with his scale. And that's one thing many people have actually said. The talent you have is yours and yours alone. That is why it is difficult to actually answer the question whether there will ever be another Christian Atsu. Talent-wise, someone might come close, but a person can never be the same as Christian Atsu. Benevolence-wise, there might be other people who would go like, okay, the project he was putting up at Senya Breko, let's complete it. But would they be committed to doing it as the man who had it at the center of his heart? If you have heard many people, he sent an email to the project managers telling them that let's postpone the commissioning of the project to the latter part of the season, specifically June, where the season would end, and we would have many footballers in the country because the season would be over. So he would bring them to come for the commissioner, but unfortunately, it never happened. The former vice president of the Ghana Football Association, George Ofrie, is joining me right now. I'm not sure there's anyone who was close to Christian Atsu than George Ofrie. Have you come to terms with the fact that this is Christian Atsu lying behind us?
Mufta, this is difficult. I just went file past the the mortal remains, and Mufta, it's not easy. I mean, there's only one lesson. We must be very humble in life. We must be generous. We must be God-fearing. In this world, we are here just on transit. And for me, Christian is right, sitting at the right-hand side of the Almighty God. He lived a very decent life. He was so humble, affable, loved by all. His generosity, I mean, a lot of people have said a lot about him. His Christian life was so perfect. But this is how he ended his stay on earth. It just goes to say one thing, that we don't know. Today, he has found his eternal life. What about you and I? Do you know how we are going to end our exit on earth? We don't know. So for me, I think that we must always be very humble.
What do you fondly remember of Christian Atsu?
Well, there was a day in Dubai when I was in the midst of the Ghana Dangbe boys. I'm referring to boys who speak the Ada and the Krobo language. And I was with him, with Pati, with Atama, with Tekpeti, with Akam, Jonathan Mensah, and I think one other person, I don't remember. And it was more of speaking the Adan language and the Krobo language. And then most of the players didn't know I speak Krobo, I speak Adan. And they were like, "Ee, Chama," and they spoke in Adan. Lo Dan and no Lo Gandangbo no Jimolo. Those were the words. And you will see his infectious smile. Then he started smiling. And as for him, he has known, but a lot of the other guys, most of the other guys didn't know. Because you remember that right from Cheetah, he was also with Feyenoord. And All Blacks days, we used to play a couple of matches. Apart from the competitive aspect of it, the friendly matches, Coach Ade will always invite All Blacks to play Feyenoord. He will invite us to go Moafete. And so I saw him right from there. And remember, one of my star players those days was Ishmael Yate, and that was his best friend. And you know, Yate's brother is Hey Yate, who is the owner of Cheetah FC. And so that's the connection were there right from day one. And so it's sad. Seriously sad. This is someone, when I had a chance to be appointed as the chairman of the Black Star Management Committee, my first assignment was to work with him. And he emerged the best player of the 2015 AFCON. So you can imagine the connection and the relationship. It's a sad day for me.
You knew him beyond football because one of your brothers worked with Christian Atsu for like 8 years, 2.5 years, his agent. What does he often tell you about the kind of person Christian Atsu was?
There's only one thing I always not forget. Tony will tell me that, "Hey, George, Atsu and his tight, he doesn't miss." Then I will say, so pounds be bringing now to me could 10%. Then we will laugh. He say, "Hey, as for his calculation, he won't miss, and he will make sure that the 10% is paid per what the Christian faith believe." And this is so unique for me. I don't think I have been able to do it, and I have forfeited several times. I owe God a lot, but I know that our star line here paid till the last day.
What should we do to remember Christian Atsu? What should Ghana football, what should the state do to ensure that the memory of Christian Atsu is immortalized?
Well, there are a number of things that can be done. I don't want to suggest. I believe that people who are in charge of the FA now, the executive council may have planned something, or the executive council is planning something. And I know I don't need to take this team out of the win. I mean, when it comes to the states, I will not stand here to pretend I know more than the president of His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo, the president. You know, he's a football person. He loves football. And so I have no doubt that he will definitely do something in remembrance of our foreign hero. I have no doubt about that.
What will get George Afriyie excited at the end of the funeral service of Christian Atsu?
Well, I'm here to pay my last respect. People in football will definitely come here to pay their last respect. And I hope that, I love the decision. In fact, I was consulted by a family member and asked my opinion whether they should bury him in his hometown or Accra. And I said they should bury him in his hometown, because a lot of people live in Accra. Adan is just 1 hour away. It's one of the richest areas we have in Ghana, but a lot of people don't know that. It is in Adan that we have the Volta Lake, we have the sea, we have the Songo Lagoon, and the land is also fertile for a lot of crops, tomatoes, watermelon, mangoes, okra, pepper, and all that. And so I said, let's take advantage. Atsu maybe wanted other people to know other part of Ghana, which is Ada. And so for me, I advised, and the family also bought into it. And together with Mr. Soti, the former Controller and Accountant General, we felt that if this can be done, and government accepted it, the FA accepted it, family accepted it, so he will be laid to rest, and his place will be a museum for a lot of generations to come.
Uncle George, thank you very much. We appreciate your time. George Afriyie, one man who knows Christian Atsu very well. But now we have Arms Around the World.
Arms Around the Child.
Arms Around the Child. Thank you very much. What would influence the decision to make Arms Around the World Christian Atsu the ambassador?
Well, I was very fortunate enough to have a very good friend of mine, Gaynor, who was working at Chelsea Football Club at the time, and that's where she met Christian. And she was working with him as his commercial manager, and he asked her if he could help, if she could help him get involved in some work, and was maybe even thinking of setting up his own foundation. And so she introduced me to him and told him all about our work, and that was it. He was like, "Yep, let's go visit the children." Then he got there and he saw the kids, saw what we were doing, saw the work that we were doing in development and trying to educate the kids, saw the school, saw the terrible state that it was in, and then he said, right, let's build a school. And that was it.
How difficult has it been for Arms Around the World since February 6th, when the earthquake in Turkey happened?
Oh, it was just devastating. I mean, we had no idea, and all the misinformation that kept coming out, and one minute we were joyful, and the next minute we were just all deep in depression. And unfortunately, the depression stayed when we had the news on the 18th of February. Very sad, very, very sad. We're all devastated, and the children are devastated at the home in Senyabereku, and all the children that he wanted to visit that we work with around the world. They all knew of his work, and he really, the next thing he wanted to do was go and visit our kids in India. So yeah.
Considering the fact that you were working on so many projects with Christian Atsu, have you come to terms with the fact that these projects have stalled because this man here is no longer available to support Arms Around the Child?
Well, we're determined to keep his legacy alive. So, we've set up kind of funding initiatives. We've already raised some really good funds. We think we're going to be able to finish the school now. We think what we really want to do is to try and finish it by June. He'd actually emailed me a couple of days before the earthquake to say how happy he was with the progress, how much he wanted to complete the school. And then he said, that, you know, he was going to be here in June, and he wanted to come down with all of his Black Star friends. So we're trying to make sure that that still happens. So we're trying to finish the school, and we're going to still open it, and we're going to carry on his legacy as much as possible.
How is Arms Around the Child coping in this difficult period?
Yeah, I mean, we're just all just extremely sad, you know, just devastated, and the children are devastated, and you know, I think time is a great healer, and you know, the thing is about you know, these situations, you know, we just remember the good times. We remember his beautiful, joyous face, and you know, when the times when he came to visit the kids, and how he just, like, you know, used to throw his shoes off and play football with them, and you know, you just have to remember, you know, just have to look back and with the joy that he brought to everybody, and that's how we carry on, really. If you're asked to describe Christian Atsu, how would you describe him?
Well, I mean, not only was he a talented, very talented footballer, but, you know, he was a very kind, very considerate, you know, just, he had great empathy, and, yeah, he was just beautiful inside and out.
Thank you very much, and I wish you and then the foundation all the best. But is there anything you are doing to complete the project?
Well, I mean, we're fundraising at the moment, so we're just, you know, every little penny counts towards whatever we're trying to achieve in order to complete the project, and that's what we're doing. So we've got a couple of things lined up in the UK, hopefully maybe a charity match. And also, we did the Black Star Gala with Christian, and that's what jump-started the whole funding of the school in the first place. And we're hoping to do the Black Star Gala again in his honour, and to uphold his legacy. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I wish you and Arms Around the Child all the best. Accept the condolences on behalf of myself to Arms Around the Child. We wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Ghana Police.
It's really, really difficult moment for. Please come, please join me. This we have. Is it Gainer Fashion?
Yes.
Gainer Fashion, Global Director of Ellie Miller, right?
So I worked with Christian on his commercial PR stuff and developed his charity side of things. So I introduced Ellie to Christian a number of years ago. Yeah, Christian and I spent many years going to many different interviews with different charities, and he finally decided on Arms Around the Child because we visited the orphanage in Senya Bareku, and yeah, he really, I think because it was a UK-based charity, he felt more comfortable that we could do work from the UK and in Ghana. So yeah, that's how the connection is.
Knowing Christian Atsu at close range, how will you describe him?
Like literally, I'd say he's, I'm not even exaggerating when I say this, he's 1 in a million. You're like, they broke the mould when they made him. Like seriously, I've worked with many footballers. I used to work at Chelsea Football Club, and he is up there in terms of him as a human being. Forget the football side. Obviously, he's a very talented footballer, but as a person and a human being, you know, he was just an ordinary guy, like living his dream, you know, and just his faith was very important to him as well. And I mean, what can I say? I just can't believe like he's no longer here.
Does it feel like a dream that he's no more?
Does it feel like what?
Does it feel like a dream that Christian Atsu is no more?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, maybe after today it'll sink in a bit more. But yeah, I find it hard to speak about it still, you know. The 2 weeks when he was missing were just 2 of the worst weeks of my life. So, yeah. It's a sad loss for everybody. But on the positive side, we look at ourselves now and we try and make ourselves more like him as a human. We can improve our own selves to, you know, learn from him and try and live our lives in a better way like he did.
Is there anything about Christian Atsu that you remember for the rest of your life?
Yeah, one day we were driving in Newcastle and he said to me that he'd asked God to bring people into his life that will help him grow as a person. And I felt like I was so privileged that I had met him, and yeah, that's the thing that sticks out to me the most, because it's a huge compliment for me that I was able to spend so many years working with him. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Sorry for the loss of Christian Atsu. It's a big loss for everyone, not just in football, but the whole world.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, I wish you all the best. Thank you. Thank you very much. Christian Atsu, that is Gainer Fashion, Global Director of Elimila. As you heard, she worked with Christian Atsu for many years. When Christian Atsu came to Newcastle, she was Christian Atsu's international PR, and she planned most of Christian Atsu's interviews that he conducted, and I should tell you that she really knows Christian Atsu very well. Quite difficult for her, quite difficult for everyone involved in football, quite difficult for the whole of the country, Ghana, and people who knew Christian Atsu personally. I asked a question earlier: who is going to be the next Christian Atsu to come through for the less privileged in society, who were always dependent on the benevolence of Christian Atsu to feed, to pay their fees. Just maybe along the line, someone will step up, but at this point, it's pretty difficult. You heard her. Maybe after this body is taken away from here to his village and buried, she would finally accept that Christian Atsu is no more. Please join me here. We have been joined by you were managing Christian Atsu's charity, isn't that?
The director, Turkish Foundation. Yes.
So that's the director of Turkish Foundation. Your name?
I'm Seth Asiedu.
So Seth Asiedu, thanks very much for joining us. Talk to us. Look behind you and tell me whether you believe that is Christian Atsu.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. In actual fact, when the incident happened, I still had hope that my brother is still alive. But today, when I saw my brother in a casket, I realized that he is gone. He has suffered, but then I believe that the kind of work he has done on this earth and the kind of heart he has exhibited for people, I believe that the good Lord had received him in his bosom.
How difficult has it been for you and the rest of the children?
It hasn't been easy for us since the issue happened. From the time the issue happened till the time the news came that he is no more, the 1 week celebration and today, it hasn't been easy. We have consoled the children and the staff. We have consoled ourselves. But then we still have belief in God that the good Lord who gave him to us will still do a replacement. And then we pray that the good Lord continue to give him a rest.
I wish you all the best. Thank you. Thank you very much. There's the arrival of traditional dancers of the people of Ada at the pre-burial service at the State House, where we are here to witness the filing past of Christian Atsu, a man many say was beyond football, a super human being, an incredible person, a man who lived a life worth emulating. Aside from the skill that he had at his feet, the heart he had was one of millions, because as you heard Ghana Fashion mention, Christian Atsu was a super being. He was a super being because he touched lives. He touched lives that were not even close to him. He redefined what it means to give your all to the needy in society. When he was discovered somewhere 2008, 2 million games, and had a stint with Feyenoord, had a stint with Cheetah, traveled out of the country somewhere in 2010 to FC Porto, made his debut with the Black Stars in 2012 against Lesotho at the Bayara Sports Stadium. A game Ghana won 7-0. It was the announcement of Ghana's very own Lionel Messi, as Sule Muntari described him. That name came to be a part of the Ghanaian journalist's description of the talent of Christian Atsu. And he would play at the 2013 AFCON, he would play at the 2014 World Cup, 2015 AFCON, he won the best player of the tournament, putting up a stupendous performance. I do recall, prior to Christian Atsu being invited into the national teams, questions have surrounded his form, but he answered those questions beautifully when he stepped on the pitch and scored the best goal of the tournament, and also became the best player of the tournament. Pretty difficult that the joy he brought to us with his skill and the joy he brought to us with his heart, he's taking everything away. He's sleeping a sleep he will never wake up from. The children would ask their mother, where is that? And when that question comes, it will be really difficult for Mary Rupio to be able to answer that question. It's difficult, really difficult. Amsaran the child has spoken to us. Former Vice President of the Ghana Football Association, Georgia Freya, has spoken to us. And Seta Siedu, who is the director of Christian Atsu's charity, has also spoken to us. What we currently have here is the traditional dance of the people of Adan who have arrived for the funeral of Christian Atsu.
The melodious crew band.
It's a day of sadness, because many people who doubted that Christian Atsu was no more, they have seen him, and the chains of running through their cheek has been really difficult. Many have been crying because Christian Atsu is no more. Blunt toss will be coming your way pretty soon. Hey, the writer Kobra Boy has just arrived here. Writer, just a quick one. you are going to join them. So, have you come to terms with the fact that Christian Atsu is no more?
No, I don't think so. I still don't believe that he's gone. That is not the Christian Atsu picture. I still picture Christian Atsu, the ever smiling personality, quite affable, kind-hearted. I don't want to believe that he's left us. I think that is a consolation that I have. I still total shock. I've not overcome that.
You have commentated on Christian Atsu's matches. All the matches that you have watched Christian Atsu play, which of them stands tall for you?
Of course, 2015. Everybody knows what happened in 2015 when he was voted the most valuable player of the tournament. And he came into that tournament even with an injury. And what he did in that particular match was absolutely incredible. Not only was he voted the most valuable player, he scored the best goal of the tournament, and every single match he improved. And I'm particularly touched because the last time he came, he left Ghana. I had the privilege of going to his house to go and interview him, and I still picture he and his brothers in that small place showing so much love to each other, and all the conversations that we had. And that would be the last time I would set eyes on Christian Atsu. But as I said, probably we're in denial. But for those of us with faith, when I say faith, with the Christian faith, we want to believe that Christ will definitely come back. And may his soul rest in perfect peace, that when the trumpet finally sounds, he will find favor with the good Lord. But we are so humbled. I do not think that for the rest of our lives we would ever come to terms with the fact that Christian Atsu has left us for good.
What was the sense you got when you interviewed Christian Atsu?
This is a guy who was absolutely humble, and I make the point that we have a culture in this country where after the demise of everybody, we say lovely things about the person. This is not what I think that I am doing, and this is not what I think Ghanaians are doing. Genuinely, Atsu was an epitome of humility, great sense of sobriety, and a man who lived for everybody. And I tell you what, you are a colleague journalist, and you do know that in the Black Stars camp, there are little pockets of politics and little pockets of groupings. This is a guy who made sure that he refused to belong to any of the blocks and just played his football, lived for the team. And this is the Atsu I would always remember. Such an extraordinary personality, his sense of humility. He never allowed his fame and wealth to get into his head. Oftentimes, when footballers get very famous, they tend to be a bit haughty and they tend to be a bit supercilious. Atsu never, ever got to that point. He never forgot his roots. He never, ever forgot his roots. He never forgot his friends. And he always tried very hard to give back to society. And there's a reason you find a plethora of schemes that he set up to help society. And his character ensured that he did not trumpet those wonderful deeds. He did everything on the quiet. It was only after his demise that a lot of people came to terms with what he was actually doing to help society. And he's an extraordinary personality. Again, we take solace in the fact that nobody has a full comprehension of what the good Lord does. We cannot comprehend what God does. And what we've realized is that a number of very good personalities, the good Lord, in his own infinite wisdom, tends to take them quite early. So the Lord knows precisely what he's doing, and we can only pray and hope that he's gone, but those of us still alive will take inspiration from Atsu's good deeds and be good personalities in the service of the nation and in the service of God.
Thank you very much, the writer. That is Kobina Yeboah, President of the Sports Writers Association of Ghana. He's going to file past the body of Christian Atsu. As you heard him mention, pretty difficult to accept that Christian Atsu is no more. But as he gets close to take a look at the casket and the body or the remains in that casket, maybe he would have a different message. Pretty difficult to explain what the good Lord wants and does, as you heard him mention. The facial expression of Kwabena Yeboah says a lot. He has seen him and he's coming back, trying so hard to hold back tears from his eyes. It's difficult now. But we go over to the studio where my colleague Akako is standing by with blunt toss. Ben, if you're ready, you can take over. We have an understanding of the times that have been designated for the filing past of the dignitaries who are here. We are made to understand that the Vice President, the President, the leadership of the Ghana Football Association, PFAG, are all going to be here to file past the body of Christian Atsu. We understand the President is likely to file past at 8:55 a.m. The Vice President will do that earlier. That will be around 8:40, 8:45. So, Benjamin, please take over in the studio for blunt toss.